Hey cleaning family, it's Carolyn Arellano, your cleaning business mentor. And in this video, we are going to get into how to pay your cleaning technicians, aka employees. So be sure to stick around for the entirety of this video. All right, you guys, number one, I just want to say thank you guys for tuning into my channel. If you find my videos inspirational, educational, and you really like tuning in, please be sure to hit the like, the subscribe button, and also be sure to hit the notify button. That way you get a notification every single time I upload a new video. Now, this is a question that I have received from one of my YouTube subscribers. Her @name is Abby Reyes 6117. So Abby asked if we could please do a video on how you go about paying your employees and how many houses does a team do in a day. So let's just start off with the how to pay employees. Number one, I run a full service cleaning business. So we do commercial, residential, and everything in between. I personally have a combination of W-2 employees and 1099 contractors. So let's just get into the difference really quickly. I also have another video of the differences between W-2 and 1099, so I'll be sure to link that down below in the description. But in a nutshell, 1099 contractors are contractors that you hire pretty much as another company to do work for you. They are responsible for their cleaning supplies, their own training, their taxes, their own insurances, and so forth. So when hiring 1099 contractors, it does take a little bit of responsibility off of your plate. So you do in turn have to pay them a little bit more than you would your employee. Because with employees, W-2 employees, you are paying for supplies, you're paying for, uniforms, you're training them. So there is more time and expense that goes into hiring a W-2 employee, right? So 1099 contractors, you are going to pay them a little bit more because they are a business of their own entity, right? They work for you, but they're not your employee. So I just wanted to make that clear. Also, please be sure to do your due diligence, depending on where you're at in the world, to see what a W-2 employee and what a 1099 contractor really is. Because if you misclassify somebody as a 1099 contractor and you treat them like a W-2 employee, you can have some serious repercussions, right, with the IRS and all kinds of stuff. So I don't want you guys to get in trouble. All right. So as far as payment goes, with our 1099 contractors, we pay them per job, right? So what we do is they get paid per job. For example, let's just say we have an account that is 5 days a week and each clean only takes about 2 hours, right? So 2 times 5 is 10. That's going to be 10 hours a week at 40 hours a month, right? So pretty much they're going to be working 40 hours a month. What you do is you break down per clean. So for example, if you know the clean is going to take 2 hours every night and it's 5 times a week, you're going to want to pay your subcontractor X amount of money. Now, for just the sake of math, right, we're just going to say that you're going to pay them $25 an hour, okay? So at $25 an hour, at 2 hours every night, that comes out to $50 a clean. So you would present this to a subcontractor in this manner. You'd say, hey, listen, I have an account and it's this many square footage. This is a scope of work. Would you like to take this at $50 a visit? Right? And then your subcontractor can then bill you for their services either, weekly, bi-weekly, or at the end of the month, depending on your terms. I personally like to pay out my subcontractors, the following week, just because I know they want their money and I want to keep everybody happy. So with subcontractors, you can pay them, per job, for example. And of course, you're going to pay them a little bit more than you would an employee because they have all of those other expenses. So pretty much that is one way you can present that to your 1099 contractor. Now, also what you could do, another way to do the math is if you want to kind of do like percentage based, right? Like for example, let's just say that same client of yours is paying you $100 a visit, right? The 1099 contractor does not need to know that, but let's just say it's $100 a visit and you do a percentage base. So 50-50, 60-40, meaning you get 50, the contractor gets 50, you get 40, they get 60, or you get 60, they get 40, whatever you feel is fair, right? So let's just say for the sake of it, we want to give them 50%. So $100 a visit, 50% of that would be $50 a visit, right? And it also kind of breaks down again to the hourly rate also in your head, because you are the prime, you're the prime, they're the sub, so you should know about how long each clean is going to take. Now, that's pretty much how you would pay your 1099 contractors, right? You pay them per job, and then you guys decide on how often they get paid out and so forth. And again, as I mentioned probably a couple of times now, you are going to be paying them a little bit more per hour because they're not an employee and they're paying for their own insurance, their own supplies. You don't have to train them. So there are benefits with hiring subcontractors. Now, with W-2 employees, okay, we pay them by the hour. And this is just how I operate in my business. And there is no right or wrong way to pay your employees, or what structure you have, whether that's W-2, 1099, or a combination of both. Now, with our W-2 employees, we do pay them by the hour. So they get paid from the beginning of the very first clean. So they clock in 9 a.m. to the very end of the last clean, which is usually around 5 p.m. So we do try to give all of our employees, 8 hours of work every day. At least 40 hours a week. And that's just, again, what we provide and offer. You don't necessarily have to offer anybody full-time. It can always be a part-time job. And also, what you want to do is do some due diligence, meaning do your research in your area. I can't tell you an exact price point that you should be paying your 1099 contractors or even your W-2 employees, because the cost of living and expenses are different all over the world. So you have to do your due diligence. But I will say this, when deciding on that hourly rate for your employees, do keep in mind that cleaning is not easy, specifically in homes, right? Home cleaning is just super tough. It's a lot on your body, a lot on your feet, and it's a difficult job. So you do want to pay them above the hourly rate, right? Because if you think about it, they can easily go find a job at McDonald's, Burger King, just about everywhere right now is hiring, right, for a decent amount of pay because of how the economy is. So keep in mind, you do want to pay them above and fairly to want people to come to work, right? You don't want to have a high turnover rate. When people are being paid fairly, when they're treated fairly, when they have the right guidance and are being, just feeling appreciated, they're going to be more happy or happier to show up to work and feel more of a part of the team and valuable. So with that being said, find out what your hourly rate or your minimum wage is where you live, and then also make sure to go above that and do some research and see what other companies are paying cleaners, right? Because you don't want to lose an employee or lose a potential hire over $1 to $2 an hour. So be sure to pay them fairly. This is not an easy job. So now once you have that hourly rate in mind, now you have a base, right? Okay, this is what we're going to pay per hour. And also, I just want to throw this in here, and I should have probably said this sooner, but while you're training your cleaning technicians, you don't necessarily have to pay them what you're going to offer them. So for example, We are based out of New Jersey, and I think the minimum wage in New Jersey is like 11.25 or something like that. We start at $15 an hour to train. So just to train, knowing nothing, coming off of the streets, we pay $15 an hour to train. Our training usually lasts about, I want to say like a full 2 weeks. So 2 business weeks, that is. So for the first 2 weeks, our technicians get paid $15 to like $17 an hour, depending on whether, they're driving themselves and so forth. And then after the training period, we pay them an additional $3 to $5 an hour, depending on the position that they're filling, whether they're driving their own vehicle or not. So pretty much, we start low, 15 to 17, and then we go up to 20 to even $25 an hour, depending on the position. Now, we pay them by the hour again, so they do get paid from the time that they clock in at the very first clean to all the way to the end of the clean. So we do pay our technicians for the drive time, travel, because, at the end of the day, for us, how I look at it is they're driving, that's their time. You know what I mean? So we do pay our technicians for travel time, and we pay them fairly, right? So good hourly rate where they don't want to go find another job, and we pay for travel time. If they are using their own vehicles, what we do is we do a mileage reimbursement. So for every mile that they drive, they get reimbursed. Depending on where you are in the world, the IRS does have like some type of allowance that you should be paying your employee for every mile that they drive. So that's like something that we do. We do pay them for every mile that they drive their own vehicle. And we also help with a gas allowance, right? So we have gas cards. That way, the employee doesn't feel like so much of the responsibility is falling on them. It's enough for me to not have to worry about managing some huge fleet of cars, because that does get expensive. And it just makes sense, right? I'd rather just give them gas money, pay them back for the tolls, pay them for the drive time, because I don't have to worry about a car. I don't have to worry about insuring a car. I don't have to worry about oil changes and so forth. We do have, I think we have like 4 company vehicles. And after that 4th purchase, I was just like, okay, we're going to start hiring people with their own cars because it does get expensive. Now, again, so you do want to pay them, fairly by the hour from the moment that they start working till the end that they start working. And that's just how we pay our employees. And also, like, obviously, you have to keep that in mind when you're pricing your residential clients. But I'll just drop a link down below for that video on how to actually price these jobs. So come up with a fair, base rate. You can do a little bit less during the training process, and then be sure that whatever you promise them in that amount of time, training time, once they complete it, you do bump them up. And then we do give raises also throughout the year, based on performance. So how many complaints do you get? How well do you clean? How many times have you called out? And so forth. So we love the team of cleaning technicians that we currently have. They are some of the most hardworking people, and I just don't want them to go anywhere. They're the type of cleaners where we don't really necessarily have to check up on them afterward, and we're just in a really good place as far as our cleaning technician team. Now, to answer actually, let me just go a little bit back. So, with the W-2 employees, the reason why you might be paying a little bit less, so let's say like you're paying your technicians $17, $18, $20 an hour, but you'd be paying those subcontractors a little bit more, right? And that is, again, because of the whole responsibility thing. With W-2 employees, you're providing everything, the training, the supplies, the equipment, every little bit. So that's why there's that difference. Now to get into, and then how do you pay them? So maybe this is not a part of the question, but I'll just go ahead and throw this out there. So what we do is we do not pay anybody cash, right? That's not allowed by the IRS. We have a payroll system. So we did sign up for a payroll system, and I'll be sure to drop a link down below in the description of this video. We happen to use QuickBooks right now, and we just gather all their information. After the onboarding process, we put them into QuickBooks, and then our cleaning technicians get paid weekly. Now, you can choose to do bi-weekly or weekly. I like to pay people weekly just because I understand the feeling of wanting to, buy things, of more of a necessity feeling, right? Like, people need to pay their bills. So we pay our cleaning technicians every single week. For example, they'll work their first week. Let's say our week starts on Monday, ends on Sunday. So they will work from Monday to Sunday. Payroll will get done on either Tuesday or Wednesday, and then that's when their direct deposit hits. So we have that little bit of cushion of about 3 days, if you need to get your funds up, time to put payroll in and whatnot. And then they get paid by check every week, direct deposit. QuickBooks is really not that expensive. I do have a discount code for you guys, so I'll be sure to link that down below in the description. And again, guys, this is only how I operate my business. There's no right or wrong way. I am only telling you things based off of my own experience. And the second part to her question was Miss Abby Reyes 6117. How many houses does a team do in a day? So now we're talking about residential house cleaning. So as I mentioned before, all of our employees are full-time, and we guarantee them 40 hours a week. So we have 8-hour days, right? So we have 8-hour days, and that breaks down to me. So we do a combo of homes and apartments. So as I mentioned before, like, I have a 2-hour minimum with a team of 2, right? So pretty much, and we do work in teams of 2 for residential cleaning. We never, I don't want to say never, but we rarely send one person out at a time. So with an 8-hour day, right, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., I can either fit 2 house cleans, because our house cleans on average take about 3 to 4 hours, or we can fit 3 apartment cleans, 6 hours. So I don't try to book more than 6 to 7 hours of actual clean time per day, because we live in New Jersey and we also operate in New York. So some of our cleans, they can range anywhere from 10 minutes apart to about 30 minutes apart. And then I also have to account for, lunchtime, right? The girls need to take their breaks, they need to take their lunch, traffic happens. And then we also have the factor of cleans running longer than expected due to a higher dirt level. So to answer your question, homes, I try not to book more than 2 homes in a day. And that's because we work in teams of 2, right? So 2 girls tackling 2 homes, anywhere between 3 to 4 hours apiece. And if it's apartments, on average, we can clean an apartment depending, usually, again, same thing, about 2 hours, possibly 3. So we can either do 3 apartment cleans in a day. 4 is definitely pushing it, because that's 8 hours alone, travel time in between, and lunch. So I would say like 4 apartments in a day, or we'll do a combination of like a 4-hour home and then like an apartment, right, for like 2 to 3 hours. So you definitely don't want to overwork your cleaning technicians, regardless of the fact if they say they need it, they need it, they need it. They may very well need it, but you don't want to exhaust your technicians. And another thing with W-2 employees is that overtime is serious. Okay, serious. So if you're paying your cleaning technicians $20 an hour, anything over 40 hours is OT, that's $30 an hour. However, I will say this too, that's like the cheap side of me coming out. Like I tell a lot of my mentees, yes, you're paying $30 an hour, right, at overtime. However, they're still bringing you in $60, $50, whatever it is that you're charging your client. And the fact that they're working, over 40 hours is telling me that you have a surplus of work. So just wanted to put that in there. So hopefully you guys were able to find this video, super helpful and educational. Please drop your comments down below. Let me know how you guys are currently paying your technicians or your 1099 contractors. And be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. And if you guys are interested in learning how to start your very own multi-six-figure cleaning business, please be sure to check out my Cleaning Business Mentor website, where I have a number of online courses. I have a ton of products, affiliate links for you guys. I have internal forms, VA services, commercial leads that you can buy, and just about anything that you can possibly think of to help you in your cleaning business journey.